Hello everyone, I'm Teacher Tolu and I'm here to help you solve your maths palavers. Today you'll be learning about the difference between percentage questions like this and percentage questions like this and how to work them out without making mistakes. A percent simply means one part out of 100. So if I divide an amount into 100 parts, 1% means one part out of that 100, 5% means 5 parts out of that 100, and 50% means 50 parts out of that 100. When you take 50 parts out of 100, that gives you a very common fraction. Do you remember what it is? It's a half. 50% is the same as 1/2. Percentages are very common and we use them every day. A percentage can tell you how much of your phone battery is charged. A percent is represented using this symbol. I'm sure you've seen it several times. So the first question says, how to work out 30% of 200. How do we do this? Well, remember that a percentage means a part out of 100. So what we need to do is divide 200 into 100 parts. 200 divided by 100 is 2. So if one part is 2, then 30 parts is 30 times 2, and that is 60. 30% of 200 is 60. Let's do another example. Find 40% of 800. First, divide 800 into 100 parts, so each part has got 8. Then find 40%. 40% is 40 times 8, and that gives us 320. 40% of 800 is 320. So there's the rule. Divide the amount into 100 parts to get 1%, and then multiply 1% by whatever percentage you need to find. And that gives you the right answer. Let's solve this problem. Find 20% of 500. Remember the rule, divide 500 into 100 parts and then multiply 5 by 20. That gives you 100. 20% of 500 is 100. What if you had to do a question like this, where 120 divided by 100 will not give you a whole number? Well, remember how to divide numbers by 100. You need to move those numbers 2 places backwards along the place value chart. 120 divided by 100 will give you 1.2. And 1.2 times 30 is 36. 30% of 120 is 36. Here are a few questions for you to work out. Go on, pause the video and have a go, and when you're done, carry on the video to see the answers. If these were your answers, well done, good job. Next, we're going to work out the second type of percentage question. Looks similar to the previous one, but very different, and students tend to make mistakes when doing these questions, mixing up one for the other. How do we find 30 as a percentage of 200? You'd need this when you've done a test that's worth 200 marks and you got 30 marks out of 200. What percentage is that? Well, the quick way to do it is just make 30 a fraction of 200. Make 30 the numerator and 200 as the denominator. Then simplify it so that you've got an equivalent fraction with 100 as the denominator. So if there's an equivalent fraction of 30 over 200 with 100 as its denominator, what will the numerator be? 20 divided by 2 gives 100. So do the same to the top number. 30 divided by 2 gives 15. So 30 out of 200 is 15 over 100, and that gives us 15%. Remember that a percent is how many parts out of 100. So 15 out of 100 is 15%. Let's do another example. Daniel has spent £20 out of his £50 pocket money. What percentage has he spent? Remember, the first thing to do is make 20 a fraction of 50. And then make it up into an equivalent fraction with 100 as its denominator. 20 over 50 is the fraction. How do you go from 50 to 100? You multiply it by 2. Whatever you do to the bottom number, do the same to the top number. 20 times 2 is 40, and 40 over 100 is 40%. Now you try this example. If I've eaten 3 parts out of the 4 parts of my pizza, what percentage have I eaten? 3 out of 4 is 3 over 4. Make that into an equivalent fraction with 100 as its denominator. 4 times 25 gives 100. And do the same to the top number. 3 times 25 is 75. So 3/4 is 75%. Here are some more questions for you to work out. Go on, pause the video, have a go, and continue the video to see the answers. If these were your answers, good job, well done. So today we have learned how to work out the difference between percentage questions like this and percentage questions like this. And you have learned how to avoid mistakes when working them out. Remember to like the video if you've learned a lot from it, share with your friends, and subscribe for more videos. I will see you in the next video. Bye!